Hi, my name's Topher, and I'm going to be doing like some short little bass lessons, kind of get you maybe a little bit started with the whole bass. Kind of trying to wrap your mind around, maybe how to get started, or work through some of the easier stuff to the harder stuff, things like that. So when we get started, first thing, be sure your nails is always clipped. It does affect the tone, especially your rhythm hand rather than your chording hand. You get kind of a higher pitched, almost pick-like sound if you have long nails. If that's your thing, experiment with it. Do what feels good to you. That's kind of the most important thing about playing instruments. You just do what's important to you, what feels good in your hands, the tones that you like, the basses, and everything has to factor in how you play. If you like a wider neck, or if you like a slimmer neck, or if you like Ibanez over Fender over Music Man over whatever, it's all about what you're looking for and what type of music that you're playing. You can get just about any sound out of any bass. As far as for the playing of different styles and things like that, different basses make different styles maybe a little easier to play, but especially if you're just starting out, just get what feels good to you. Get something that's going to be good for you to learn on, and practice your skills on. So let's get started. Turn the camera down so you can kind of more so see what I'm doing with my hands. Okay, let's get started with tuning. This is a 5-string bass. We're going to be starting on the B string. Tune to 440 if you have a tuner. If not, I'll walk you through. Okay. 4-string users, this will be your first string. It's a low E string. A string. G string, or D string, excuse me. G string. Okay. Now, thinking that you may already know what the notes are, you start off, 4-stringers, your E, F, F sharp, G, so on and so forth through all the strings. So this is kind of beyond that. This is kind of after you learn the notes. Okay? You're playing a typical 3-chord song, church songs, old country songs, anything of that nature. You do the G, C, D. from time to time they add minors, which is going to be an E minor or an A minor. So if you're playing a typical 3-chord song that's G, C, D, we're going to get very basic. Okay? You're going from G to C. There's a walk. You can walk G, A minor, B, C. Okay? You can walk that straight back down if you're going back to G. C, B, A, G. Now, the same walk you can do up to B. G, A, B, C, D. Walk straight back down. Okay? That's also playing on your low G. It'd be 4-string users, it's going to be 1, 3. 5-string users, it's going to be 2, 3. Okay? So, what you're doing on this low G, you kind of paddle. It's paddling between G and D. Okay? So walk to C, you're paddling C and G. Here comes the walk to D. D and A. Paddle. D, A. D, A. Walk back down. G, D, G, D, G, D. Okay. Some songs, like I said, have, the A minor. Okay. Now, you get into like contemporary, like praise and worship at church, or things like that. It's all about playing the bass note, not exactly what the guitar players. You need to understand, and you need to really listen to the bass players of the music that you want to play. If you're listening to Southern rock and roll, then you need to listen to Southern rock and roll bass players, as many as you can, and try to pick up on their transitions, their techniques, on how they play on both hands. You do a lot with this hand, but you do even more with this hand sometimes. You get into some real complicated things when you really start to hone on your pick hand. So what we're going to do next is, we went through your basic walks. Sound familiar? Sounds like a major scale. Obviously, that's the octave. You can move these patterns anywhere. If you work within patterns, songs are a lot easier to learn. You learn your G pattern, your A pattern. Okay? Let's change it up a little bit. Instead of playing C here, you would play C here. And as you know, typical 3-song C chord is C, G, and F. C, G, and F. So your walks are really kind of the same, except you're not starting on G, you're starting on C, but you're doing the walk down to G. And the walk to F is almost the same as D. Minor, A on the C, G, F. The little walk I done a while ago to back to G was F. Was F, E, F, F sharp, G. Okay. You move that pattern around as well. And you can do, like, you remember when we was doing the G just a second ago, the pattern of G? You can do the pattern in C, just the same. But, you know, my particular taste, I like to keep on the low side of things. Sometimes it sounds good to kind of slide up to your octave and play an octave to accentuate certain notes, you know, emphasize, you know, bring your dynamics up and down. So this, you know, is a very, very basic lesson. This is a very basic lesson on walks. This is, you know, for you guys that are like, you know, light years past this, I'm going to try to work up to some of the bigger stuff. So, you know, these basic patterns that I showed you, the G, A, B, C, and D, can be moved. Whether you want to do it in A or, you know, F, you know, it doesn't matter. You're doing the same thing. You're just moving that pattern up and down the neck. The one with the C is not, it's the same difficulty. It's just a little bit different pattern, because your root note starts in a different place. So you're walking down, you know, C, B, A, G, F, F, G, A, B, C. So it's all about knowing these patterns, okay? You guys that are learning to play at church and, you know, you're doing the old hymnals, this is 101 stuff. This is stuff that you want and need to learn first, because this is the easiest stuff you're going to play. This is good stuff to get your hands moving up and down the fretboard, okay? Make sure that you know your notes. You know, 5-string guys, 4-string guys, make sure you know all your notes all the way to the 12th fret, okay? That is very important, because most places that you go, buddies that you play with, whatever, can name chords. You know, if they're strumming their guitar in G or C or D, they can tell you where they're at, so you can go to where they're at. Okay? But try to keep an open mind about bass, and try not to do exactly what the guitar player is doing all the time, because bass is its own instrument. It has its own places, as does guitar. I mean, guitar is a melody instrument. This is a rhythm instrument. So you're keeping, not only are you doing notes like a guitar, but you're hitting on the beats like a drummer. Okay, you need to be in the pocket of that drummer, what that drummer's doing, how hard he's playing. Bring the dynamics up, bring the dynamics down along with the drummer. Okay, a good drummer will give you good beats to play with. Okay, sometimes you may have to kind of downsize what you're doing to play with other drummers that's a little bit more straightforward in their attack. So you can't go over a drummer's head. It doesn't sound as good when you're over a drummer's head. You kind of need to keep along the line. You and your drummer form a bond, a musical bond with each other, so you can feel where each other's going. You know, if there's a dynamic shift and he's going one way and you go another, it doesn't work. You need to both be going at the same, you know, that your dynamic feel needs to be the same. If you're playing in a band that doesn't have a drummer, you're it. You're the guy that sets the pace. You're the guy that keeps the rhythm in check. So, that's my phone going off. But, wrapping this first interlude up, okay, your basic walks, practice these patterns, okay, even add them minors in, you know, your A and E on your G's, add, you know, play around as much with it as you can, but try to make these walks work with you. Don't fight against it. If the timing doesn't work out, don't do the walk. You know, it's better to keep it more simple than to mess it up. So, I mean, it's really about learning, spending your time at home with whatever tracks that you need to be playing to. You know, YouTube's like the best thing in the world for practice. You practice anything you want, any song. There's even tutorials that guys have put out there on these songs that'll teach you how to play some of this stuff. This is a very basic one-on-one lesson with more information than playing. I'm going to try to get into more of the playing part as we roll along. So if you have any questions or want me to go over certain aspects of playing, then leave it in the comment section. Let me know if you're struggling with something, so I might be of help. There's some things that's probably going to be over my head. I've been playing for about 20 years, but you know, you're all the time learning. Even veterans are still learning. They're still learning patterns and techniques and the way that you move your fingers to get certain tones. Where you play down here gives you certain tones, from brighter to a punchier to a warmer. What you play with, whether you play with fingers, picks, felt picks, kind of give you, you know, like the pick feel, but more of a finger, I guess, because it's a lot different tone. Picks are a lot sharper attack. Fingers are a softer attack. So I mean, it's all in what you want. If you insist on playing with a pick, but you don't like the tone, go to your music store and buy a felt pick. Got a couple of friends that play with felt picks that like it. So I mean, it's all about doing what works for you. Don't let anybody tell you that, you know, playing with or without a pick is good or bad. It's what you do. It's what you want. It's how you want to learn. I play with fingers. I like the tone. I don't like the tone of a pick. So even the felt picks have a little bit different tone in your finger. So if you're a finger guy and you like the sound of the fingers, then work with your rhythm hand. Exercise that hand to where you can use more than one finger. using one finger really limits your speed. So learn how to play with more than one finger. And a lot of guys slap and pluck. So I mean, it's what you need to, it's what you want to do to fit whatever music that you're playing. If you're a funk guy, then you're going to want to learn how to slap and pluck. If you're a metal guy, then some guys use picks, some guys use fingers. It's what you're going for. Just remember, do what feels good to you and fits your music. Make sure that you understand that you got to fit your music. This is 101. This is basic of the basic. Be nice on the comments because this is my first time trying to do the one-on-one stuff or any kind of teaching at all, but I feel like I may have some insight and want to help some of the guys that are starting. Like I said, if you have any trouble, shoot me a comment. Let me know what you're having trouble with, and I'll see if I can figure out a way to help you. That's it. I'm out. Thank you.